Thank you. I want to go to our panel now. Nick Comfessori is covering politics for the New York Times, joins us here on MSNBC all the time. And we've got E.J. Dionne, a columnist for the Washington Post. Gentlemen, it's good to have you with me. And let's go back to the CNBC interview, because Trump also appeared to signal that he may very well lose this race to Hillary Clinton. So take a listen to these two bites.
My attitude is this: whatever happens, happens. I'm giving it straight. I don't know that it will work because I'm a non-political person and I'm proud of that, but I'm giving it straight. All I do is tell the truth, and if at the end of 90 days I fall in short because I'm somewhat politically correct, even though I'm supposed to be the smart one and even though I'm supposed to have a lot of good ideas, it's okay. You know, I go back to a very good way of life.
Yeah, so EJ, he was like, it's either going to work or I'm going to have a very nice long vacation. What do you make of that interview?
I think it's astonishing for a guy who is always attacking losers to actually open the door. And at least it shows that some sense of the reality in the outside world is penetrating, because right now, of course, it does look like he's going to lose. Incidentally, Thomas, I thought you wrote what would be the epitaph of the Trump campaign if he did lose. You said at the beginning, it is unknown if Trump is going to go off script. And I do think it's astonishing. It's one of the reasons he's in such trouble, because we're watching all of these events, and what we're really waiting for is some new outrageous thing that Trump is going to say, which is keeping all the attention on him in a negative way. So he is right to be worried that he's going to lose in 90 days.
I like the fact that you pointed that out, because I did write that. I personally wrote that in here. And yes, it is unknown, and we are going to be watching closely to see how he handles this. Again, as I pointed out with Katie, this should be his home turf. Right. And Nick, let's talk about last night. The person that was behind Donald Trump at that rally got a lot of attention. That happened to be the former Florida Congressman Mark Foley. So I've known Mark for years, covered Mark back in at a different network, and what happened with him, why he left Congress for the email situation with pages and inappropriate messages. So I texted with him last night. I asked him, for the record, are you a Trump supporter voting for him? His response: yes, he's been a friend of mine for 30 years and one of my biggest contributors. So NBC News, we went back, we looked at the financials of 97 to 2006 for what Trump donated. It tallies up to $8,500 to Foley. So is there an apples to apples comparison that people are making now to Donald Trump talking about the Orlando shooter's dad behind her at a rally, and now Mark Foley behind Donald Trump? Is that fair for these apples-to-apples comparisons that are being made?
It is apples to apples, but I think in both cases it's kind of irrelevant. I'm not sure you can hold a candidate responsible for a person who shows up in the crowd at the back of a rally. If they're an invited guest, if they're made part of the proceedings, then maybe. But I'm not sure we can hold either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump as somehow endorsing or embracing these two people because they showed up at these rallies, although it does seem that both of them are supporting the candidates that they showed up to see.
And we know when it comes to Khan, you know, he had every right to be there if he wanted to be. The Clinton folks say they did not know he was coming. They had no cooperation to make him be a part of that. Foley gave a statement last night to a local affiliate saying that he got there early. He was not a guest of the campaign. I asked him for clarification on that. He didn't respond to that point of my question. But are people really, is it the crowd you hang around with? EJ, let me ask you, are you, you know, the company you keep?
Well, I think the problem for the Trump campaign with the Foley story is they attack the Clinton campaign because somebody shows up at a rally, and then all of a sudden, when somebody else who's somewhat embarrassing to the Trump campaign shows up at a rally, they use all the same excuses and arguments that Clinton made that they dismissed the day before. And so I think the significance of this mainly is that it shows there is hypocrisy in politics. There was hypocrisy in their attack on Clinton. And as Nick said, I mean, people show up at your rally who want to show up at your rally, and you don't want campaigns sort of screening people. That gets you into all kinds of trouble. I want rallies for politicians to be open to everybody.
Nick, you wanted to say?
I would just say, you know, it perhaps suggests that the Trump campaign should spend less time trying to keep journalists out of their rallies and maybe look more closely at who's actually showing up, right? I mean, you know.
All right, so from that rally, though, Donald Trump took Hillary Clinton and the email situation. Judicial Watch releasing this new batch of emails from the State Department, kind of linking some type of indication or whiff of impropriety between the Clinton Foundation and state. But take a listen to Donald Trump.
Today we had a very, very big thing going on all over this country, and it's called Pay for Play. You saw this. New emails come out. New emails. How do you think Hillary would feel if emails were never invented? Would she be happy?
Now, we know Donald Trump does not email, but EJ, let me start with you. Pay for play. Trump admits he paid everybody, from Democrat to Republican, to line their pockets and to have access to them as a businessman. And now he's going after Hillary Clinton. Is this a decent line of attack for him?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump recited one line I finally agree with, which is that Hillary Clinton would be happy if email were never invented. And I suspect at this point in the campaign, that's absolutely true.
I think we would all agree with that.
Exactly.
I would agree with that. It would make all of our lives a lot easier.
No, it's true. I think that probably, if you look at all of these stories, the one that I suspect has some legs over time is the Clinton Foundation. And as far as I can tell, there isn't evidence of nasty pay for play. But I suspect that when you have a family foundation raising a lot of money and Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, it's inevitable that there are going to be some contacts somewhere, and the opposition is going to be able to make a lot of it. I think if she were to be elected, I think they've got to figure out a way of building. Here's where Trump's wall comes in. I think they need to build a gigantic wall between the Clinton Foundation and the White House. And just to be, but I think that Trump, as we've said all week, whatever mileage they can get out of any of these stories, they just can't even move onto that road because of all the stuff Trump is saying, particularly that Second Amendment comment.
And we know that the FBI has never confirmed or denied the fact that it's looking into any type of impropriety or connection between state and the Clinton Foundation. And certainly, folks are going to ask for all kinds of favors if they think that you can actually help them out. We'll see if there's more to come of this. Nick, EJ, thank you very much for joining me.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.